Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego, and it's time for your surprise live stream. Not December, it's January 9th, 2025. I've got new pixie dust for 2025. Okay, pixie dust is MAGA red for 2025, and I'm here to help you. If you need help with your green card application, with your K1 visa application, with your spousal visa, CR1, IR1, if you need help with a tourist visa, I'm here. I've got 10 years experience processing visas of this kind. I have no idea how to process a student visa, and I'm not an immigration attorney, and I don't give you any legal advice, and I don't work for USCIS, but I could. I think USCIS, if they hired me, I would be cranking out K1 visas like this. But the secret to a successful K1 visa is to qualify for the benefit, right? Yes, let me move that door out of the video. Nobody wants to see a door in the video. So, the successful K1 visa application using USCIS Form I-129F, it's only, 12 pages long. It's easy to fill out. If you can read and write, spell, and add and subtract and count up to 10, you can fill out USCIS Form I-129F. Okay? You don't need an immigration attorney to do this for you, but what you do need is plenty of time with your beneficiary, Mr. American Citizen Sponsor. Now, only U.S. citizens, okay, can apply for a K-1 visa. So if you're a legal permanent resident, you live in the United States on a 10-year green card, and you met somebody, that's good. That's all fine. But you cannot qualify for the K-1 visa. So you'd have to marry each other in his or her home country, okay, and then apply for the spousal visa through the CR1 visa process. Okay, that's the way you have to do it. But if you are a U.S. citizen, then you can qualify for the K1 visa. You got to be a U.S. citizen. You've got to meet income requirements above minimum income requirements as specified by the Center for Disease Control. Actually, control the income requirements. The CDC. They're the ones that put out the poverty numbers. And for the K1 visa interview at the embassy, you got to be at 100% for income, minimum income, 100% of the federal poverty guidelines. And for the green card, you got to be at 125%, okay, of the minimum federal poverty guidelines. Now, why is that? Why is it that you have to be at 100% for income for the visa interview in the embassy, but you got to be at 125% for the green card application? Well, number one, the K1 visa is a temporary non-immigrant visa. It's a temporary non-immigrant visa, which means you're coming to the United States on a K1 visa. It's temporary. If you get married, you stay and apply for the immigrant green card, immigrant permanent residency. If you don't get married, if you don't like the United States or whatever the reason, and you go back home, okay, then you don't stay. So the K1 visa is a non-immigrant temporary visa. It gives you permission to enter the United States of America legally without sneaking across the freaking border. Okay? You arrive at the airport and you get your I-94. You hopefully your sponsor accompanies you through the Border Patrol checkpoint. I hope that your sponsor from the United States accompanies you, Miss Beneficiary or Mr. Beneficiary. Very important. Okay, that happens if you can do it, because it makes less stress and creates less immigration hassles at the checkpoint when you arrive in America. So you get married within 90 days. You get your I-94, you look at the dates on the I-94, you print it off the Border Patrol website, you get married within those 90 days. So the K-1 visa goes away. You no longer have a K-1 visa. You used it one time to enter America. It's gone. Now you're on an I-94. It's a 90-day window of time, okay, which is created by the Border Patrol to let you get married within those 90 days. If you don't get married within 90 days, you'll be deported. If you come to the United States and marry somebody else other than the person on the K-1 visa application, you'll get deported. Can't do that. You got it? Estelle Lemagum. Hi, Diego. Fiancé visa issued since 3 days. Still waiting for the passport. Thanks again. Okay, well, look. We're going to put some MAGA pixie dust, okay, on your passport. So your fiance visa gets, so the embassy processes it, and you get a Mountain Dew salute for surviving this process. Look at that. Mountain Dew salute. There it is. Congratulations, Estelle. Visa issued. Very good. Now all you got to do is go pick it up. And then what are you going to do when you pick it up? Going to fly to the United States, right? And let me continue. When you get to the United States, you're going to get your I-94. Your K-1 visa will become invalidated once you arrive in America, and you'll be working off of an I-94, which is good for 90 days. You get married within 90 days, and then you start building up a fantastic, excellent green card application for your 2-year probationary green card. Remember, your first green card is probationary. All right? And Estelle, why did you delete that message? There's good news, okay? We're happy for you. Karina's right now, she's at work. Karina's working. She has her green card, she's working. So I'm doing a live stream for you guys so you can get answers to your questions. But good job to Estelle. Now, get to America, you get married within 90 days, okay, and you start putting together your green card package. And Estelle, what is that fantastic super chat from Estelle? That is a double Mountain Dew salute. We appreciate the super chats. I will let Karina know about your super chat when I go pick her up from work. I just go pick her up from work. She can drive if she wants, but I'm just want to help her out. Thank you, Estelle, for that fantastic super chat. We appreciate you. But more importantly, we're glad that you got through this process. Okay? The K-1 visa process is put in place by the U.S. Congress in 1970s. It was put in place by the U.S. Congress because Vietnam veterans were trying to marry ladies from Vietnam, during the Vietnam conflict. And the Congress was blocking all the marriages, and the Vietnamese government was causing problems, and the U.S. government was causing problems. So the Vietnam veterans in the 70s, they put pressure on the Congress to say, hey, if I want to marry this lady, I'm going to marry her. Who the heck are you to tell me I can't? Right? I qualify. She qualifies. So what happened was the Congress created the K-1 visa, the K-2 visa, and the spousal visa back in the 70s. So if you are a benefit, if you're receiving a K-1 visa, you can thank a Vietnam vet for creating the congressional law that created it. But I've got 10 years experience processing these documents, okay? And it's not hard to do. I would much rather you come on this channel and let me explain to you how to put together a K-1 visa application than for you to pay an immigration attorney $4,000 or $5,000 to do it for you. Because when you get done with the process, you're going to kick yourself and you're going to say, man, this wasn't so hard, right? It's not difficult. The green card application is not difficult either. So you get to America and you're going to put together a green card application. You're going to wait 40, 50 days, say 50 days. And in those 50 days, you're going to get your social security number from the Social Security Administration. And then you're going to become the beneficiary. That's the beneficiary. You're going to become a joint owner on the bank account with your sponsor. And then you're going to start waiting for bank statements to come in the mail once a month. So let's suppose you wait 2 months, 60 days. You got 2 bank statements with your name on it. Okay? And then you're going to put your beneficiary on the electric bill, the water bill, the trash bill, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever you can get, whatever bill services you can get your beneficiary on. Now, some states are a pain. They make it difficult, okay, to put the beneficiary on the services. But that's okay. You find other things you can do. You get your beneficiary on the deed to the house, the apartment lease, the townhouse lease, the title to the car. Okay. Mountain Dew will fix that cough real quick, and Estelle gets another Mountain Dew salute. And Tashalin's World. What's going on, Tashalin's World? Hey, Mr. Ross. No, my dad is Mr. Ross. I'm Diego. My dad lives in Thailand, okay? He got married to a lady from Thailand. He didn't want to go through immigration like you guys, so he has retired to Thailand, Chiang Mai. Regina Vlogs. Hi, good afternoon. Regina, Now, what's going on? Tell everybody about your vlog. What are you vlogging? Tell everybody what you're vlogging. So then people can check out. If you have a YouTube channel, perhaps people can check it out and subscribe to your channel. You just tell a little bit about your YouTube channel if you want to. It's up to you. So you're putting together your green card application. You got to America, married in 90 days. Do you have to file for your green card within 90 days? No. You got 6 months to apply. Okay? You have got 6 months to apply for your green card. Question from Mr. Somebody. How old is Daddy Ross? He's 84 years old. He lives in Chiang Mai and lives in northern Thailand, up in the mountains, with a Thai restaurant. Priyanka, Priyanka in Michigan, from Michigan. Hello, Diego and Karina. I am currently in Sweden. Very good. On business. I cannot wait to come back to the United States. Well, we want you to come back to the USA from Sweden. We love the folks in Sweden. There's people watching us from Sweden. Mountain Dew salute, Priyanka, to you. And also Estelle for that fantastic super chat. Priyanka, you got married, and then you in the United States, and then you moved to Alabama, and then you relocated to Michigan, and now you're in Sweden on a business trip. And hopefully you took all of that information with you that we talked about for your trip, because when you leave America with a 2-year green card, the Border Patrol are very strict when you re-enter the United States. So you don't want to go for too long. You don't want to leave if you need to travel on a 2-year green card. You don't want to leave longer than, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks for a vacation. You don't want to go 6 months and go visit grandma for 6 months, because you're going to have a heck of a job trying to get back in the USA. Immigration is going to say, you just got your green card, and now you've been gone for 6 months. Why is that? Well, I miss grandma. Well, then you don't need your green card. Go back and hang out with grandma. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Priyanka is on a working trip to Sweden, and you took all the information that you listened to what I said to you to do, so you don't get any hassle from the Border Patrol when you come back. And Mr. Somebody, my dad is 84. He was born, I believe he was born in 1939. And March is his birthday. So he'll be 85 in March. And my great-grandfather, he lived to be 98, I think, something like that. Let me see. Regina, I have a question. My 90-day is finished on the 6th of January. Still we didn't apply for the green card, but we got married already, so it will be a problem for me. No, it's not going to be a problem if you got married within 90 days. Okay? But you do want to apply for the green card you don't want to go past 6 months. So you come to America, you get married, and you don't apply for the green card within 90 days. Okay, but you don't want to go past 6 months. 5 months, I would say, but 6 months is like the rule of thumb. So if you don't have your green card package completed yet, and you're going to go past your I-94s are going to expire, don't worry about it. You're still within status, okay? You're in status, but don't wait past 6 months from the day of your I-94, the commencement date of your I-94. Priyanka, yes, Diego, I took all of the documents with me. I will be back on the 18th of January. Okay, very good. I'm sorry I missed the live chats lately, but I've been watching all of it on YouTube. We know you're busy. You're a world traveler. You're working. And America likes that the fact that you're working, because when you're working, okay, that's going to help you in the future with your Social Security taxes and your Medicare taxes way into the future. Because when you come to America and you get your green card, you want to start work because you want to pay into the system. If you pay into the system, after 10 years, you are then qualified for Social Security benefits. But you got to pay into the system for 10 years or 40 Social Security credits. You got it? You learn all kinds of stuff on this channel, right? It's not going to be a problem for you, Vegina Vlogs, not a problem. But don't go past 6 months. from the date of the commencement of your I-94. Then immigration is going to be questioning you. What the heck? You're going to be back on the 18th, Priyanka. Very good. And my husband and I are working in Michigan, living under the same roof. Well, that's good. That's excellent. You got to keep saving your evidence, okay? Keep your evidence collected of whatever you do. So you went to Sweden on a business trip, right? Keep the boarding passes. Take pictures with people in Sweden, your business people, whoever you're working with, and put them in, and you're going to use those for your 10-year green card. And make sure you keep taking pictures with your husband in Michigan, okay? Go to different events with your husband in Michigan with his friends, and make pictures. Remember, this process doesn't end until you become a U.S. citizen. When you become a United States citizen, you don't have to mess with immigration anymore. It's over. It's done. No more paperwork. No more nothing. No more this. No more that. But in order to get to that point, okay, to become a U.S. citizen, you got to be in the United States for 3 years, uninterrupted. Uninterrupted means you don't want to go past 6 months. So if you're on a working visit, a working trip like Priyanka for a week or so, that's fine. If you want to go on vacation to go visit your family in the Philippines or in Pakistan, that's fine. But you only want to go for like 2 weeks at the most. You come back to America with all your boarding passes and your pictures, and you keep collecting them. And then when you apply for your 10-year green card, right, you're going to have all this evidence of your relationship over the past 21 months. Because you have to apply for the 10-year green card 3 months before your 2-year green card expires. You got it? Priyanka's living under the same roof with her husband. That's good. Regina Vlogs is okay. Okay, Regina. Don't go past 6 months. Mr. Somebody, can a spouse travel freely on a conditional green card? Let's say they want to visit their family during the 2-year probationary period. Yes, Mr. Somebody, you can travel on your 2-year green card. But you got to make sure you bring with you evidence of your relationship, your marriage certificate, your names on the deed to the house or the lease agreement on the apartment, your driver's licenses, U.S. driver's license. Okay, you got to bring all this evidence of your relationship and of your roots that are in America now. And you can travel on your 2-year green card, but go on a vacation for 2 weeks, and that would be the max. Because when you apply for the 10-year green card, or when you go for U.S. citizenship in particular, the first question the immigration officer is going to ask you is, have you left the United States of America? Well, yeah, I did actually. I went on vacation to India for 2 weeks. Oh, great. Okay. Excellent. Make sure you got pictures and the boarding passes of the trip. Okay. Let's suppose you went to visit grandma in Australia and you stayed for 8 months because grandma was real sick and you wanted to stay with her. You had to help her out. And you're on a 2-year green card and you go help out grandma in Australia for 8 months. You're probably going to have a very hard time getting re-entry back into the United States. And you're going to have if you do get back into the United States, you're going to have a very difficult time becoming a U.S. citizen. You'll probably be denied U.S. citizenship. A green card is issued to you, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, to live and work in the United States with your U.S. citizen, sponsor, husband, wife. That's the reason for it. It's not a tourist visa. You don't use a green card to travel back and forth to see grandma and grandpa and your aunts and uncles, tia, tio, abuelo, abuela. That's not the reason for the green card. The green card is for you to live and work in America. That's what it's here for. That's the reason you got it. Because you want to be with your American citizen sponsor, husband, wife. But if you leave the United States on your 2-year green card longer than 6 months, there's a good chance, especially under the Trump administration, they're going to deny you re-entry into America. If you're going to travel overseas on a 2-year green card, you bring your marriage certificate with you, evidence of your relationship, your American driver's license, your title to your car with your name on it, the deed to the house or the apartment complex or the townhouse with your name on it as a joint responsibility. And then you have all that documentation. So when you come back to the United States after your vacation, if the Border Patrol officer is having a real rough day and decides to mess with you and says, hey, I want to see proof of your relationship with your husband, you got everything with you. And then the Border Patrol officer has to let you in the country. They can't block you without a really good reason. But if you go longer than 6 months, you can forget about it. You can forget about it. They're not going to let you back in the country. Word of the wise, right? So if you have a family member, so if you marry somebody, let's say from, I don't know, England, and she has, her mom is sick, and there's a good possibility that this lady's mom could pass away during this green card process or the K-1 visa process. If mom is terminally ill, wait until she passes on and goes to heaven, okay, before you process the package for the green card or the K-1 visa. So if you're dating somebody from overseas and that person has family members who are very sick and they're very close to each other, they're interconnected with each other very closely, you got to make sure that you don't file for the K-1 visa until all of the family issues have been solved. There was somebody that came to the United States on a K-1 visa, and then something happened in her home country in an emergency, which they already knew about. So she went back to her home country to take care of the emergency, and her K-1 visa was basically denied because she left the country before they even got married. Her K-1 visa became terminated. It was blocked. Boom, done. It's history. So now they have to file for the spousal visa because she had to go back to the home country to take care of her family medical emergency. So they waited 18 months for this K-1 visa process to go through. She came to America, and then she was here for about a week. They're getting their wedding plans together. Then all of a sudden they had a family emergency, and she had to leave and go back to her home country. Her K-1 visa became terminated. So now they got to apply for a spousal visa and start from the beginning all over again. Make sure you have cleared up all family issues before you apply for the K-1 visa. Okay? When I talked to Karina, I said, look, your mom lives in Venezuela and your sister lives in Venezuela, but all your brothers live in Colombia and another brother lives in Brazil. How's your mom? Is she good? How's her health? Oh, she's great. She's in great shape. I said, okay. Because remember, when I apply for this K-1 visa and you get to America on the K-1 and then we start the green card process, you can't leave the country. Well, you can, but you're gonna lose your benefit. So the first question I asked my wife was, how's your family? How's your mom? How's her health? Is she good? Because I'm not going to apply for a K-1 if her mom was very sick. Because I know Karina's going to want to be with her mom if her mom happened to go in the hospital for something. Okay, although it's in Venezuela, it's even difficult for her to see her anyway. Let's see here. So, Mr. Somebody, yeah, spouse can travel freely on a 2-year conditional green card, but just make sure that the person brings documentation with him or her that proves the relationship. Okay, that they're together in a real relationship, and don't go longer than 2 weeks out of the country. Priyanka, yes, Diego, took my husband to a Christmas party with my office colleagues. I like that word, office colleagues. That's awesome. We took a lot of pictures for evidence for 10-year green card. Now remember, Priyanka, when you take pictures with a bunch of people, you got to identify the location of the picture. Well, this picture was taken at this location in Michigan, and you identify the names of the people in the picture. This is my friend so-and-so, this is my work colleague so-and-so, this is my work colleague so-and-so, and then the date the picture was taken. And then you put the pictures, you get like 2 or 3 pictures of this event, and you put them in document protectors. And then you put the document protectors in your 10-year green card package. Okay? Now, Karina has started her 10-year. Karina's been in the United States over a year now. She started her 2nd year on her probationary green card. But we have an album of stuff this thick so far for her 10-year green card. Well, what's in there? Well, I printed the copy of the I-94. You don't need it. You don't need it for the 10-year green card, but I put it in there. The marriage certificate, okay, is in there. And it's a certified copy of the marriage certificate from the courthouse. When you file for the 10-year green card, if you have a divorce decree, you have to file a certified court record issued divorce decree. You can't go to Office Depot you can't pull out your divorce decree from your desk and go to Office Depot, make a copy of it, and put it in your 10-year green card application. You have to go to the courthouse and get a certified, wet ink certified copy of your divorce decree and your marriage certificate. So my advice to you is this: start planning for your 10-year green card right after you arrive in America. Okay? Whatever you put in your green card application for your 2-year green card, make copies of some of that stuff. So make sure, and some of it has to be certified copies for your 10-year. So Karina's got an album like this filled with stuff for her 10-year green card. And she's going to have a second album filled with stuff for 2025. So when we apply for her 10-year green card, we're going to probably have about 1 or 2 albums like this that we're going to mail by FedEx, UPS, or DHL. So when immigration open up that box for her 10-year green card, they're going to go, wow, look at this. She's been on the bank account for 2 years. She's been paying bills with Diego for 2 years. She's on all the bills. She's on the title to the car. She's on the deed to the house. She's got medical insurance. Very important that your beneficiary has medical insurance, health insurance. That goes in the 2-year green card application and the 10-year green card application. Okay. Make sure also that you repeat the medical exam. Make sure you repeat the medical exam for the green card, for the 2-year green card, and recertify the vaccinations. Now, if you go to the USCIS website, it says, all you got to do is recertify the vaccinations. On December 2nd, I believe, 2024, USCIS is saying you have to repeat the medical exam. They just haven't updated the website. So it's a 50-50 chance that you'll get an RFE if you submit your green card application without a repeat medical exam, which is certified by a civil surgeon in the United States, authorized by the State Department, USCIS, on Form I-693. You got it? This process isn't difficult. It's just a lot of legwork. And it's important not to miss anything. When you miss something, if you spell somebody's name wrong on an I-129F form, let's suppose you're applying for a K-1 visa for somebody and their name is like this long. It's like 20 letters. And you make a little bit of a mistake in the spelling of the name. That document becomes invalid because the name is not matching the passport. So they send everything back to you. When you apply for a K-1 visa, make sure you don't make any spelling mistakes on the names, on the passport numbers. Don't transpose the date of birth. When you apply for a K-1 visa, they ask for the beneficiary's mom and dad information. Miss Karina, what's your dad's name? Karina, what's your mom's name? What's her date of birth? Where was she born? Where does she live? Okay, well, her mom lives in Caracas, Venezuela. And she was born on this day, and this is her full name. First name, middle name, last name. But what if you don't know that? What if you don't know who your dad is? Okay, you're a beneficiary from a country. You're applying for your sponsor's applying for your K-1 visa, but you don't know the name of your dad or where he is or his date of birth. You're not going to get blocked from the K-1 visa if you don't know that. You just put unknown in the application. See, I don't know. Unknown. I don't know my dad's date of birth. I don't know where he was born. I don't know. I don't even know his anything about him. Don't worry. Immigration understand that happens sometimes. So don't panic. Okay. So Priyanka, you took my advice and you got all the paperwork with you. You're in Sweden right now watching us. And Priyanka says, thank you, Diego. I will do that. And we're going to give Priyanka a Mountain Dew salute because she's in Sweden on her 2-year conditional green card, but she had to do some specific things before she left the country, which she did, and everything's going to be fine. If you go on let's suppose you got a 2-year green card, you're living in Texas, and then your boss says you got to go to, I don't know, you got to go to France to work for 10 days on a business trip. You can do that, but you got to make sure that you get a letter from your boss saying, I have been tasked with going to France on a business trip for 10 days. You're on letterhead of your company that you work for. You bring your marriage certificate with you, copies of documents that show you live together, you're married, your marriage certificate, your driver's license, everything you can possibly think of with your husband or wife. And then when you come back to America, if the Border Patrol say, okay, you left the United States, you just got here, but you leave in America already. Why? Well, I had to go. It's because of my job. Well, prove it. Well, here's a letter from my boss saying I got to go here, etc., etc. It's not hard. The U.S. government is not going to try to stop you from coming back to the United States if you leave on a 2-year green card for a vacation. But if you leave for 6 months or longer, forget about it. You're not going to get back in, okay? And then you're going to have to redo the process all over again, okay, from a spousal visa instead of from the K-1. Immigration is pretty strict. When Trump gets in office in the 20th of January, he's going to be sworn in. Things are going to change. He's not going to block you from getting your K-1 visa. He's not going to block you from getting your green card, but he's going to make the process a lot stricter, okay? Especially for U.S. citizenship. When you want to become a U.S. citizen, you can be one. You can apply for U.S. citizenship after 3 years of being married to a U.S. citizen. But I think Trump's going to make the test a little harder and the qualification process a little harder. Okay, so start studying the Constitution of the United States, learn about our government, the history of our country. You know, we don't celebrate July 4th. Okay, Americans got lazy. Americans have got lazy. They say Happy July 4th, but that's not correct. It's Happy Independence Day. Okay, so you come to this country as a beneficiary, as a new person from a foreign country, and everybody's wishing you Happy July 4th. Make sure you correct them and say, no, July 4th was created by Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar, the Roman emperor, created July. They named it after him, Julius, July. So if you say Happy July 4th, you're giving salutations to a Roman emperor. You say Happy Independence Day because on July 4th, 1776, the United States became independent from the United Kingdom, from Great Britain. We kicked him out of here, okay? They tried to take our guns. They tried to tax us. And look how it worked out for them. It didn't work out very well for them. But we're still good friends. Okay? Learn about the history of our country. Start preparing for U.S. citizenship if you want to become a citizen. Now, you don't have to become a U.S. citizen if you don't want to. If you would rather just live here on a 10-year green card, every 10 years, you just got to renew your green card. You can do that. I mean, there's no rule that says you've got to become a U.S. citizen, but you still have to pay taxes. If you are a 2-year green card resident or a 10-year green card resident, you got to pay taxes every year to the federal government. Okay? Got to pay taxes, federal taxes. So you and your husband or you and your wife will fill out a 1040 as a joint applicant, a joint tax return. You don't file separate tax returns when you marry. If you file a separate tax return, immigration is going to give you one heck of a hard time when you apply for U.S. citizenship. They may even deny it. They'll say, well, why are you filing separately? You got to file together your 1040. So in January, which is this month, okay, Karina's going to get her W-2 from her company she works for. She's going to get a W-2 with all the money she made in the last 6 months of 2024. I'm going to get my 1099 because I don't get a W-2. I get a 1099, okay? And we will combine our incomes together on the 1040, how much I made, how much she made, and that's our total income for the year. And that's going to go on the 1040, the IRS form 1040. I'm going to sign the IRS tax form. Karina's going to sign it in her full name, Karina Ross, Diego Ross. We sign it. And then I write a check to the federal government for however much it is. Now I get a tax break now. Karina and I get a tax break because we're married. So hopefully it's not as much as I used to pay. And then we will mail off our taxes. And the deadline is April 15th. Although I think they added an extra day because of President Carter's death. And I think tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be any mail delivery because of President Carter's death. And I think you get an extra day to file your taxes. But normally, April 15th is the deadline when you have to file your taxes. So if you are a beneficiary coming here from a new country and you've been living here for a year and it's time to do taxes, okay, you have to be on the 1040 with your husband or with your wife. Make sure you're on the tax, because when you file for a 10-year green card, to lift the conditions off of your 2-year green card, you got to show tax returns. If you don't have a tax return with your name on it, Mr. Beneficiary, Miss Beneficiary, when you file for your 10-year green card, there's a good chance you won't get your 10-year green card. You'll be denied. I'm serious. Chris and Emil, I did 67,000 miles. You did 67,000 miles on a 1099 for the Uber. How is that going to work by filing taxes? It's under 67 cents a mile. So you got a 1099. How much money did you make in 2024? And how much does it say on the 1099? You'll say on the 1099 how much money you made. And that's what you're going to pay federal tax on. I don't pay state tax in America. In Florida, excuse me, I don't pay state tax. I live in Florida. Corinne and I, we live in Florida, so we don't pay any state taxes. Zero. But we got to pay federal taxes. And this year, I'm going to file in April. Last year, I filed in January because I needed that 2023 tax return for immigration because I worked in 2023. In 2022, I was in Colombia for 10 months, so I didn't work. So I had to show my income went from zero to hero. So I'll file my taxes with Karina probably around middle of April this year, April 10th, somewhere in there. And those tax returns, I'll make a copy of it. And in July or August of this year, I'll call for the tax transcript. And then I'll put that in Karina's 10-year green card application. And then in 2026, I will file taxes early because Karina's going to file for her 10-year green card in March of 2026. So I'm not going to wait until April of 2026 to file our tax return. I'm going to file it in January or February of 2026. So I can include 2 tax returns in Karina's 10-year green card application. So it's going to show a joint tax return for 2025 and a joint tax return for 2020. Let me see here. Yeah. So we're going to have 2 tax returns. So this year I'm going to file in April because I don't like giving the freaking government money. Okay, they waste it. The Congress, they waste so much money. Although under Trump and Elon Musk, I think they're gonna start cutting out all that crap they spend money on that's useless. They're gonna start acting wisely with our tax money. So that's the way it works. Okay. So for 2024, Chris and Emil, you take your 1099 and you look and see how much money you made. How much money did you make? And you don't have to tell us here, but whatever the total is, that's what you're going to put on your 1040. Okay, that's how it works. So I've got a 1099 coming. I'll have a 1099 coming for military retirement. Karina's going to have a W-2 coming because of her job that she has. And I'll have another 1099 coming from YouTube. Okay, because I got to pay tax on all those excellent super chats that you send Karina and I so we can go buy Mountain Dew and go to Hardee's for breakfast. I got to pay tax on that. But that's okay. But I'll give a Mountain Dew salute to everybody, and especially for all the folks that have sent super chats over 2024. We appreciate it. But I'll get a 1099 from YouTube. I'll get a 1099 from the military, and Karina will get a W-2. We add up the income. Okay, that's it's not a whole bunch of money for YouTube. It's a very small amount, but I still have to claim it. Plus, I got to file. I got to show the interest that I earned in any money market funds or interest-bearing accounts in the bank. So you get the bank sends you a statement saying this is how much money you made in interest on your money market or your savings account or checking account, whatever. Okay, and you add up all this income, and you file a joint tax return. Very important. If you don't file a tax return, Miss Beneficiary, if you don't put your name on your husband's tax return or the wife's tax return, who's a U.S. citizen, it's going to cause you big problems with immigration. Max problems. denying your 10-year green card, refusing U.S. citizenship, etc., etc., etc. Chris and Emma, I work with a company to offset for the taxes with a W-2 and 1099 coming this week. $1,199 below of being taxed, but it's over that I will have to pay tax on. Okay. Well, I don't make a bunch of money on YouTube. It's a very small amount. Okay, but I still have to get a 1099 from Google, I think it is, or YouTube, wherever. They'll mail it to me. The same is for my military retirement and for Karina. Karina's working full. She's got her job, so she has a W-2. So we file our taxes April 10th, I think we'll do it, in 2025, and then we'll and then for 2020, and then for 2025 income. We're talking 2024 income. For 2025 income, I'll file the taxes in January of 2026 because we're going to apply for Karina's 10-year green card in March of 2026. So I want to show a tax return for 2024 and 2025 with both of our names on the document. If I wait till April of 2026 to file our 2025 tax return, I can't include it in the 10-year green card application because we have to file for that. And we're going to file for that in March. Although technically we could technically, because you got to lift the conditions off the 2-year green card within 90 days of the expiration of the 2-year green card. So technically I could wait till probably the end of March, but I'm not going to do that. I want to get Karina's application sent off right when the day is where we're allowed to. So the green card application, the K-1 visa application, it's a very intense process. It's a long process, and it's a very strict process. But it's not difficult to do. Okay? Honestly, it's not. If you need help with a green card application, if you need help with a K-1 visa application, okay, maybe this year I'll set up something. Maybe I could set up a members only channel where I'll give you my email address that I've just created, and you can download information to me with questions through a members only channel. I don't know. I don't really want to charge anybody to do this. I want to do it for free. But in order to keep your information private, it would have to be in a members only channel, I think. But it's up to you guys if you want to do it, because this is your channel, right? I put it together for you guys. Karina's idea, by the way. Morse Soane. How to cancel a petition to USCIS after receiving another benefit. You don't need the pending I-130. Well, Morse, did you file a K-1 visa application? Did you file a spousal visa application? What did you do? You want to cancel a petition. What kind of petition? What are you trying to cancel? A K-1 visa? A spousal visa? Tell me what you're trying to do. I don't know. You said you want to cancel a petition after receiving another benefit and you don't need the I-130. Well, if you filed a K-1 visa, there's no reason to file an I-130. There's no reason. So tell me what you did. Okay, you filed a K-1 visa. So why did you file an I-130? It's not relevant. An I-130 is totally irrelevant. It's got nothing to do with a K-1 visa. When you file for a K-1 visa, you file what forms do you file? What do you file with a K-1 visa? USCIS form I-129F. USCIS form G1145. That's it. And then also you can include the I-134 if you want to include your declaration of financial support, which I recommend you include in your K-1 visa application. Even though it's only required for the embassy interview, I recommend you include it in the K-1 visa application. You don't file an I-130 in a K-1 visa package. An I-130, if you are a 10-year green card holder and you want to bring mom to America, you file a form I-130. Hey, come on over, mom. You don't file it. So you want to cancel a petition. You don't want to cancel the K-1. So what you're trying to do, what you want to do is eliminate the I-130. So you write a letter to USCIS with a copy of the NOA1 letter or whatever you received regarding the I-130. You write a letter to immigration to the service center that processed the I-130 and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I filed this form in error. I don't need it. I'm working off of a K-1. And that's how you do it. But you got to include the documentation of the pending I-130. So you wasted you spent money on an I-130 and it wasn't necessary. It's no problem. I mean, this process, not everybody understands it. That's why you guys jump on the channel. And that's why I'm here to help you. So I can help you get through this. But you just write a letter to immigration saying, I don't need the I-130. I made a mistake. I'm working through a K-1, and that's it. And then make a copy for your records. Whenever you send something to USCIS, you always make a copy for your records, because sometimes they lose stuff. Like Larry, who lives in Florida, they lost his I-864, his affidavit of support. They're like, where is this proof of evidence of income? They lost it. But Larry listens to me, okay? And I told him to make a copy of everything, and he did. So he had a backup ready, and he said, okay, here's the I-864 that you lost, Mr. Immigration Officer, but that's okay. Accidents happen. You're human. Not everybody's perfect. So he resent the I-864, but he got an RFE. But because he listened to me, he was prepared for any kind of circumstance that could pop up. So he fixed it like that, okay? And I've got, like I said, I've got about this much stuff in Karina's 10-year green card package already. In March of 2026, next year, we're going to apply for her 10-year green card. Now, it could take 6 months to get it. So Karina's going to be working in the United States at her job with an expired green card, right? But immigration extend the 2-year green card for a year to give you time to get your 10-year green card while they adjudicate it. Okay? So when you get to that point, don't panic. You file for your 10-year green card. Your 2-year green card becomes expired. You can keep working. You can keep doing what you're doing because the letter from the immigration receiving your 10-year green card application will extend your 2-year green card. Frank Valdez, when can my wife petition her brother and niece to live in the USA? She just received her green card. Well, you can petition for a brother or a niece to come live in America, Frank, but there's about a 10 to 15 year waiting list for brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews. It's about 10 to 15 year waiting list. It all depends on the availability of family visas. Okay? But you can bring mom over. Mom is an immediate family member. Dad is an immediate family member. So it's a 12 months to 15 month turnaround to bring mom to America using the I-130. But to bring a brother or a niece over to the United States, it's next to impossible, really. It's not impossible, but it's a good 10-year wait minimum. So I don't want to break the bad news to you, Frank, but that's the way it is. And under President Trump, maybe he will ban or block that kind of visa. He's not going to block K-1 visas. He's not going to block green cards for immediate family members like wives, husbands, fiancés, and mom and dad. But brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and all those folks who we would love to join us in America, there's a good chance that visa process will go away. You heard it here first. Don't be surprised if that happens, okay? And don't be mad at the system. Don't be mad. Remember, it's a benefit. It's not a right to come live in America. It's a benefit. So if you, like Karina, she understands it's a benefit. And I was the sponsor, okay? And we filed the application in 2022, April of 2022. We've been dating for a long time. And she knows it's a benefit. So you get here, you're on a 2-year green card, it's probationary. What if you get in trouble? What if you get in trouble you get a speeding ticket for reckless driving? Because you're angry at something or you get mad. This is the beneficiary. You get mad at something and you get caught going 75 in a 45 or something stupid like that. What happens? Well, it's reckless driving. It goes to ICE. Immigration will get that memo from the police and from the sheriff, and then that will hurt your green card. If you get caught, let's suppose somebody comes to America and they get a 2-year green card, and they get caught stealing something from Target or from Winn-Dixie or Walmart or Publix, something stupid. They steal a bag of chips from Walmart. It goes to ICE. Your green card is going to be in jeopardy. When you come to America and you get your 2-year green card, you got to be walking on water. And then when you get your 10-year green card, then you have more security. Okay, it's a lot more secure of a green card, but you still got to be walking on water. When you become a U.S. citizen, okay, then you get treated like everybody else. If you steal something from Walmart, you go to bail in, you go to jail for the night or whatever, and you get bailed out. And then that's the end of it. You just pay the fine or whatever, but you have a criminal record. You don't want to get a criminal record on a 2-year or a 10-year green card. But you really don't want to get a criminal record, period. Just stay out of trouble. But my traffic problem, a DUI. If you get a DUI when you're on a 2-year green card, it goes to immigration. They look at it. Okay? It's just food for thought. Be good when you get here. Don't get in trouble. Don't be doing something stupid. Okay? Sandarin forever. Saludos amigos. ¿Cómo estás? Sandarin forever. Chris and Emma, what if they do a H-1B with a work permit to come to the USA to work? My wife wants to bring her cousin or brother to the USA. Can they file a different visa? They could file for a work visa, and then they're going to ask, do you have any family members in the United States? And then your wife's going to say, yeah. My husband and I, we live in America, right? And where's your, Chris Nemmer, where's your wife from again? Is she from Thailand or, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I'm sorry, man. I think it's Thailand or the Philippines. But from the Philippines, that's right, from the Philippines. Okay. So her cousin files or her brother files for a work visa to come and work in America. Number one, they're going to have at least $10,000 minimum in their bank account, whoever it is applying for the work visa, minimum 10 grand, because they got to show proof that they're going to come back to the United States. It's to the Philippines. Okay. How long is that process? I don't know. For a work visa or for student visas, I don't know. I would say probably a 10-month, 12-month process to adjudicate it. Like any visa, it's about 12 months to adjudicate it. But I don't think, and with my knowledge on this, I don't think that a cousin or a brother is going to get approved for a work permit if they have a family member living in the United States. Let me give you an example. Our good friend, Corinne and I, we have very good friends that live in Bogota, Colombia. He's a pastor of a church, and he's also a businessman. He's a capitalist, entrepreneur, conservative. Pretty wealthy guy, very successful, very, very hardworking, okay? He's got property in Bogota, Colombia. He's got businesses in Bogota, Colombia. And he applied for a tourist visa to come to Miami to go to his brother's wedding. His brother lives in Miami. He lives in Bogota, Colombia. He's a wealthy guy. He's a businessman. He's a church. He runs a church. He waited 2 years. He filed for the tourist visa. He waited 2 years, and the immigration officer's first question at the embassy in Bogota, Colombia was, "Do you have any family living in the United States?" And he said, "Yeah, my brother. We're going to go to his wedding." They immediately denied his tourist visa because he had family living here. And he's like, "What the heck? I waited 2 years just to be told no, with all of the evidence of my roots in Colombia." But they said, "No, you have family member." and there's a good chance you won't come back to Colombia. You may just stay there with your brother. It's very, very, very difficult, okay, to get a work permit or even a student visa if you have family that lives in this country. Immigration, it depends on the country too. Like the Philippines is difficult. Colombia is difficult. It's very difficult. It's 600 days plus to get a freaking tourist visa in Colombia. So if you want to bring mom and dad over, if you're from Thailand or from Philippines, you want to bring mom and dad over, that's fine. It take about 15 months. But cousins, brothers, nieces, nephews, it's about 10 to 15 year wait. And if you want to come over on a work permit or even a tourist visa, they'll ask you, do you have family living in the United States? The first question they asked Karina at her K1 visa interview in Bogota, Colombia was, do you have family in America? They asked her that. Do you have any family? She said, no, just me, right? Other than myself. So anyway, I've been talking for an hour, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for that fantastic super chat, Estelle. Another Mountain Dew salute for that super chat. I hope you enjoyed your time. And Karina's at work. I'll go pick her up here probably another few hours, and then we'll be back for a live stream. What's today? I don't even know what today is. I lost track of today's Thursday. So we'll be back on Saturday, 6 p.m. Central Time for another exciting live stream. Now, I got the Venezuelan flag here. I got the American flag. I got my Colombian hat. And I got my UFO stuff up on the wall. And there's Karina's chair right there. There it is. That's where Karina sits. And she'll be sitting there Saturday. Thank you, guys. Mr. Somebody, thank you, Diego. God bless you and your family. Also, God bless you and your family, Mr. Somebody. And we'll see you Saturday.